For joining me. We're going to be changing out an iPhone 7 cracked glass. This is by far the hardest screen to change that iPhone has made. A lot of it due to not a lot of space in there, and if one little thing is wrong, you won't be able to shut it back. But when you get started, you're still going to unscrew the two bits on the bottom. And what I've done here is I have a piece of tape, and I'll show you right here that a piece of tape that I've stuck down so I make a pattern. That way when I take a screw off, I put it down on the pattern, and that way I know where to put each screw back. Also, you're going to need a tri-wing. So if you're going to do this your first time, make sure you get the tri-wing bit. And it's hard for me to show you. I got this off eBay. It's called, just look up tri-wing iPhone 7. It is very fine. If you don't have it, you will not be able to change your screen out. So take the first two screws out, and I'm setting them down on my little sticky tape that's been stuck backwards. That way it will stick and not roll off. Okay, so I got that done. And with the iPhones, they have a seal. Maybe it's like a waterproof seal or something, and you're gonna have to crack that seal. And what I use is a razor blade. And with changing any screen, I'm just gonna go over stuff while I'm doing stuff. You could use a heat gun and heat this. I just like to use a razor and glide it across. You see what I'm doing? But what was I saying? Oh, with any iPhone, always disconnect your battery. You can zap out your phone, your backlight, and it's not going to zap out your screen that you just bought. It's going to zap your phone out, being that a little spark can hit it. Some people wear a little bracelet. I just disconnect the battery, especially if you're going to just do this one time for your phone. Most people do who are watching YouTube and trying to learn how to do it. So yeah, just disconnect your battery. You'll see where the battery port is. It's really simple. The reason I'm saying this is the hardest one to do, I've spent like an hour where this little ribbon was folded forward instead of folded backwards, and I couldn't understand why my screen wouldn't go into place due to that little section, and I'll point it out to you. But if you can't get your screen back in place, it'll crack if you push too hard. Also, a good thing to do if you're doing this, before you go and close your screen and lay it on a flat surface to press it down, you're going to want to make sure that there's no screws loose, because sometimes a screw will get stuck to a magnetic piece inside of the iPhone, and guess what? When you go to shut your screen, you can crack your screen, and you don't want to do that. So just before you put it all back together, just inspect it real good to make sure. And this iPhone 7, it opens up and closes together different than any other iPhone. You have a ribbon right here, so do not take a razor and start slicing up in there. And also there's a ribbon at the top. What I do is, holding it facing up, I'll try to turn it on so I can show you, and you turn it down a little bit and just keep rocking it. It's got a seal up top. So, and what I do is there's little clips on top here, right at the top of the screen. I'll try to show you if I can get it open right here. All right, right here, and right here at the top of the phone are these little clips. So you almost have to like rock it and undo it like that. Okay, so once you got it open, you open it like a little book. And this is when the tri-wing comes into play right here, and you're gonna unscrew here, and this is where your battery, where it's gonna disconnect. And I'm trying to go fast for you guys, because I don't want to make you guys watch like a 20-minute video. Some people do that just to make money off YouTube, but we're not trying to do that here. So I'll go as fast as I could and talk about tips and stuff like that, and you could learn a lot from somebody who's experienced. So this is the ribbon that I had trouble with right here. There's two ribbons. When I went to shut it one time, instead of, if you could see it, instead of folding like that, the ribbon was bent forward, and just by that little ribbon folding forward instead of the way it's supposed to, I wasn't able to get it shut. So that caused a lot of a problem. Also, when you go to disconnect anything, make sure you use a plastic tool. Don't use a piece of metal. You can zap your phone out. So what I'm doing right now is disconnecting the ribbon piece. This is actually your ribbon for your LCD, and be real soft with it. Don't just force it. All right, there's the two pieces there, and I got that open. You can see that is your battery right there. And by disconnecting, just doing that, I've now disconnected my battery, and I'm safe to continue working on the phone. Because if you try to plug those in, I've seen a spark happen, and there goes the whole phone and shot. All right, got the tri-wing there. Also, you're gonna get a Phillips. And sometimes if you go on eBay to buy your phone kits, they will sell you a phone screen with the with the screwdriver needed to get in here. So that's another thing you can look for before you go and buy your screen, so you don't have to go buy a screwdriver. And that'll help you guys out a lot. Alright, so there I got that. And you're going to pop this little ribbon out. Once you got that part off, next I'm going to undo the button. And this button is different than any other iPhone because you actually don't pull it out this way, you pull it out from the front. Pretty weird. Oh, there goes the tri-wing again at the bottom, so gotta have that tri-wing screwdriver. So here's that. Screw 1, 2, there's 4 screws at the bottom there. I think those screws might be all the same. One actually right in the center there. That one holds your button in place. Alright. I got that undone. I'm gonna unclip this thing. If this is your first time doing this, you probably want to just pay somebody to do it. Because if you don't do it for a living, it can be difficult. They really did make it hard. Razor blade's going to come in handy. Make sure you do not cut your ribbon. You can use a heat gun and heat on the front of this. I'm going to do that now because I don't want to damage it. Alright, got my heat gun out. If you don't have a heat gun, just use a hair dryer. Just heating it up a little bit will help it, because they put some sticky tape on the other side of that. Don't overdo it because you'll cook your button. I think that's about enough. Just a few seconds there. Get it hot enough to remove the whatever the hell you want to call it, glue that they put on there. I think Apple does a lot of stuff so just to make you not be able to change your screen out. Because what's better than buying a new phone? Alright, just work your way under there. Keep messing with it. Yeah, that heat gun really helped. It just took it right out. See, the button just fell out from the center. Okay, once you got all the 6 screws on the side, you're almost ready to take off the metal plate that's on here. I think I got all mine off. Of course, I think they glued that part at the bottom. I'm lifting this up to show you guys where it's glued onto. You see this right here is where they've glued this the black part, the ribbon, to it. You could open it up like this, like I've done. I don't like using a heat gun here because it's so delicate, but I mean, you can slowly peel it. Just take your time and work with it. And I'm going to show you another thing that I actually disable the sticky part on here. This can cause a lot of problems where your thing won't line up. So what I do is, usually on a screen you get this little cellophane, this red thing, and what I do is I take a scissors, I'll show you guys, and I'm going to cut a piece off of it, and I'm going to disable that little sticky part because I'm telling you, it can really cause you a headache where your stuff won't line up. So by doing that, I've now disabled that piece. Alright, so now we're ready to put the plate onto the screen. Oh, I got a little bit sticking out there. Go figure. There you go. Alright. Yeah, because if this piece right here doesn't line up, that little metal thing, it's got to line up into the phone. You only got so much room to play with. Alright, so... Oh, go figure, that's my good screen. What am I doing? Losing my mind. Alright, so get this stuff out of the way here. Just removing the tape. When you get these screens, they come with a lot of tape on them. All over the place. Alright. Get that off. This is my new screen, got the metal plate. Sorry for my voice, I got a cold, so got the 6 screws in. It should look like that. Make sure that you tuck this little ribbon piece under here. It should look exactly like that. Next, I'm going to slide the button in place, and let me just remember. Oh yeah, I got to do it this way. So I take this off, a little cellophane that they got on there, and you're going to insert it this way. Or that way. Alright, you lay it down, tuck. You see this little ribbon? This piece has got to go under it. If you can see that. And then you're going to clip it in place. And just put your thumb over it and feel it around. It just snapped right there, you could hear it. Next, you're going to get this little piece here, and you are going to place it over where your button goes, because this piece goes over it. And also I want to point out something to you guys, and I'm going to use my screwdriver. This little circle right there at the bottom screen, now we're back to the old screen. You need to move the speaker over. This is where the heat gun comes into play. I'm going to heat it for about 6 seconds or so. You don't want to overdo it. I hate to keep saying that. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you overdo it, you could ruin it. Alright, that's about good right there. You just want it to come up. And you know what? If you're not sure if you're going to overdo it, just do it a little bit and try it. It should peel right up. So I got that part. Should peel right up, even without a razor, if you go real slow. I like to use a razor. It just makes me feel better. I've been using them forever, so. And just help it pry. But take your time. I'm going to use my heat gun a little more. I feel like it didn't want to come up right there, and I don't want to force it, you know. That should be good. Work it again. Like I said, you can always go back so you don't overdo it. Yeah, now that just that little bit right there help. And you can use a tweezers too. That can really come in handy. I've used tweezers before, but because I'm making the video, I don't want to stop. There it goes, came right up. So once you got that off, that's all bare. Get your new one on right there. And there's these two little holes right here. I'm gonna point them out. Sorry, let me get the background for you. These two little holes right here. Let me see if I can show you. These right here go into these little plastic notches. So you can see them better there. Right there. Put them into the plastic notches that they go into to make sure you got it lined up correctly. And what you're gonna do now that I got this little tiny, I'm gonna put it on my fingertip, that little thing right there, and you gotta get it around this little proximity sensor here. I'm gonna flip this over and get it in there. It's such a tight fit. So what you do is you put your speaker in place, fold the camera over into where it needs to get, place the metal plate, I'll try to show you guys how it looks just so you know, right on top of it, and this is what you do. Okay, I got that last ribbon in, but I had to lean it up against the camera display. It was really difficult, that one I'm pointing at right now. They only give you so much play with this ribbon right here, but anyways, I got it in. I wish I could have showed you how I did it, but too difficult. Plug the battery back in, the last thing you do, and the reason I'm not screwing in the rest of it yet is because we want to test everything that we've just put in. The last thing you want to do is close. I tested my front camera, I tested my speaker, this one right here on the earpiece, and everything seems to be working good. My digitizer's working, and now we're going to screw the phone back together, the little plates that we got, and you're going to place the plate back over where it goes, and we're going to do the two plates, one here and one there. Let's do that. We're ready to put everything back together, and I like to jimmy this corner in first, and what you do is hold it up at an angle like that and get that in there. You get the clips in there, make sure that's flush right there, and then you're going to drop this down.
Let me borrow a pen.
Yep.
Paper. I need to send money to two persons. Can I do that?
Yeah. Okay, I got everything in, and I went to lay it on the table and close it, and I'm running into the same problem I always run into with the iPhone 7. And look how I'm pushing it in, and I got a little gap right there, so it didn't close perfectly. And when you push on the screen, you'll know that right there, you see that little blemish that's happening on the screen? You don't want to push real hard. Guess what will happen? You'll crack your screen. So you need to find out. It's usually this is not lining up right here inside the screen, right here, or if your ribbon, this one folds forward instead of backwards. If it's folding like that, then that could be causing the problem. You want to open it back up slowly and see what the issue is. So I'm going to open mine back up and see what's going on. I just want to point out what's happening. The reason in the video I had you disable that little sticky thing and put that little red sticker on the other side so you can have play with this and move this around. And the reason that's not closing correctly is because this piece right here needs to go into that little square right there, and they only give you so much room to play with. So if you want to move it forward, just line it up, move it forward, and stick a piece of tape on your side. That way you could shift it around to where you got to get it so you can close it correctly. I'm not going to beg you to subscribe. All I ask you to do is hit the like button. And thanks for watching.